some hope to die.
By these 50 countries, differing so much in race and religion, in language and culture.
It is a big idea, a new world order.
Well, I know they're lying. They tricked me once, but they're not going to trick me twice. The time is now. Welcome back to the Professor Penn podcast. David Penn, your host. Glad to be with you as always for episode number 276, coming to you this Tuesday night, February 3rd, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. In this episode, we're going to be exploring some of the issues that are associated with the ongoing operations here in the Twin Cities and in Minnesota, the ICE operations, and how it's affecting our communities. This is in full disclosure, we're recording this actually, it's Tuesday night. This was done several days ago. And every time we do this, Tanner, good morning.
Good morning.
I always get nervous because I wonder what could happen between right now and when we air this, because it's wild. Anything could happen.
Yeah. In a couple of days, it could just switch completely.
Right. So but we're going to take our best shot at this. I have in studio with me Ms. Erika Rivera, who is, are you the leader of the Hispanic?
The co-chair.
The co-chair.
The
co-chair of the Hispanic
Assembly,
which is a Republican Party affiliated
correct
group.
Yeah.
And I have to my left a guest who's coming back for a reappearance. We're glad to have you back. Martino Nguyen, good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Martino is on the executive committee of the CD3. He's a player, and he's very involved in his Vietnam community, as we talked about the last time he was on. I just saw him last weekend and that was by accident. The Vietnamese community had a New Year's celebration, Lunar New Year celebration at the Burnsville Mall. And I ran into Stan Hamilton there. We had a pleasant interaction. The last time I talked to Stan, he swore at me, "Hi, Stan, we love you." But we don't always agree. And we're not looking for loving each other. We're looking for aligned interests to maintain this republic. And the driver of tonight's podcast is to try to listen to other voices and to try to figure out what people are really thinking on the street. As we're walking in the studio, Erika mentioned to me that she just went down to the place where this man was shot.
Yes.
And so she's in the street. She's a reporter. She's interested in it. Martino, I think, has expressed to me some deep concern about, what's happening in his community and how these ICE operations are impacting the perception of the Republican Party and the Vietnamese and Hmong communities. And there's been a lot of effort made by a lot of people, yours truly included, to try to reach out to what Representative Walter Hudson terms emerging constituencies. And I've been criticized. I'm just going to tell both of you. I had a Somali Republican on this podcast, and man, there are people in the party. Maybe they're not in the party. Maybe they're just Republicans or hanger-ons that really criticize me for even talking to this guy, Muhammad Ahmed.
Oh,
And Muhammad's a good dude.
He's awesome.
And
we had brunch with him. He's a really good dude.
He's, I think he's really sincere.
Yeah.
And I just have to say that it's no different than my experience. I mean, I'm born in the United States. The first language in my family was not English. My grandparents were immigrants, legal immigrants. My father was born here. My mother was born here, but just barely. There's a lot of anti-Semitism. So people, and I just saw something in one of the chats. Somebody said, "Oh, David Penn is Royce White's Jewish handler."
Really?
And it's just very, it just really is a indictment of people to think this way, to view every single person in every community as being the same. I am an America First Jewish American. And I'm very critical of AIPAC. I'm very critical of the Zionist project, but I pray in Hebrew. I love the Jewish people. These things are complicated issues. And so people should say, well, deport David Penn. Because why are we picking on Muhammad? Because we had our concerns about where Muhammad was coming from. We talked about it. And because we made a relationship with him, we learned that he's made a commitment to be part of the Republic of the United States. He's adopted. Now, he gets heat in his own community for this, and probably his life is threatened because of this.
Yep.
But I'm not 100% sure, saying this to Dan Schultz, my friend, I'm not 100% sure. And there's people that are not probably 100% sure about me. I'll allow the comment, I'm Royce White's Jewish handler, which if anybody'd like to try to handle Royce, step out into the ring with them, because that's not a winning strategy. But what I'm trying to say to you, if you have those feelings out there, Royce White has no handlers. That's a bullshit story. And that's a very anti-Semitic trope to say that I've been sent by the International Zionist Conspiracy to manipulate Royce White. No, that is completely false. Royce White is an independent voice, an independent thinker, and I don't even give him political advice because he's just going to look at me and say, "F off, man." Because, I told him when I first met him, I said, "Royce, do you have to swear? F off, man." Okay. Yeah. So we gave that up a long time ago. I'm not looking to be, liking Royce or agreeing with them. I'm seeking aligned interests with any citizen that seeks to maintain a republic where the citizen is sovereign. That's my endpoint goal, to maintain republicanism, that the citizen is sovereign, that we respect minority rights, that we participate in civic life. And by the way, tonight is caucus night.
Oh, that's
So
right.
we're coming up here at 7 p.m. Hopefully nobody's watching us, and the entire audience said, "No Professor Penn tonight, we're at caucus."
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
Oh, sorry.
What?
Hopefully they're watching afterwards and they're.
Yeah, they could pick it up afterwards,
Yeah.
but the premiere. But we know that that's not going to happen. We know, that this is one of the problems. But we want people to be engaged in civic life if they're Republicans, because that's part of it. And I don't mean the party; I mean the life philosophy. And then the final thing that's so important, and that is a good preface for our conversation, is the Commonwealth. Republicans believe like it's the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth, the common good, something that we've lost sight of in the Republican Party, which is allowed, and of course in the Democrat Party, which is allowed for this tremendous wealth, income inequality, which is a great problem that the communists grab to get out into the streets. So there's a lack of we don't have a commonwealth. We have a fractured society. We have tribes. We have conflict, and it's in the streets. So, Erika, when you went out and you went to the site of the shooting, what was your impression?
Well, obviously, it's very sad to see that we are getting to this point, that things are escalating and escalating and escalating, and nobody do something to stop this. It's devastated. First of all, because we see a lot of people protesting and being extremely aggressive towards ICE. And the other side is we have no leadership in Minnesota. We have a mayor and a governor who are completely, I don't even know how to call, but definitely they have lack of leadership is number one. And I think this can be avoided if they do something from the beginning. But I don't know for what reason. I think in Minnesota, especially in Minneapolis, we've been having a culture for the last 7, 8 years.
We've been having a what?
A culture that we are against law enforcement.
A culture against law enforcement.
Correct.
And is that also, do you see that in the Latino community?
Well, sadly, the Latino community in Minnesota, organizations who work for the Latino community are all Democrats, far left, like not even moderate Democrats. They are very far left. So they are founded, and their agenda is convincing the Latino community any type of conservative is against you. So you have to be a total left person, otherwise you are against your own culture.
So, if I understand what you're saying, there are non-governmental organizations that are active in the
Correct.
Latino community that are funded by government and private sources, foundation sources, and the use of those funds is to radicalize the
Exactly.
Latino community. And there
Exactly.
is no presence in that community of any counter movement from Republican.
Exactly what I'm saying.
Okay,
You got it 100%.
okay, great. So there's
Sadly.
so the community is being radicalized.
Exactly. It
Okay.
is. And it's sad because people is really convincing that, the Republicans are against them 100%. And they buy in this indoctrination. They convince them like, Republicans don't like you, they are racist, they are against you. And it's what people so afraid of anything. The people in the Latino community are convinced that law enforcement, no matter what, are against them.
I just want to comment on a personal note. I have more connection with the Latino community than most Minnesotans because I operate a business
Correct.
in Mexico. So
Yeah. Well, you know that.
I spend a lot of time, 15 years. I've been in Mexico a lot with the businesses in St. Louis Potosi. I have a partner down there who is a dual Mexican and American citizen.
Hmm.
And his daughter was driving to work in St. Louis Potosi. And I was telling you the story just before he came on. And she was driving close to a bridge. And on the bridge, there was people that were hung upside down and skinned, beheaded.
Yep.
And she called me and she was crying. And she said, "Can I please come work at the home office in the United States?" And because, that's such a powerful thing when a friend's daughter calls you and says, "Please help me."
Hmm.
Of course, I facilitated her, and she was already an American citizen.
Yeah.
She was born in this country, so there was no immigration issues for her coming here. I just had to give her a job at the home office. And she's here, and she's a lovely young woman. And I walked in her office last week just to say good morning, and I said, "How you doing?" And she burst into tears. I mean, she's burst into tears. And I
Yeah.
said, and I told her father I'd take care of her. He's my friend.
Of course.
And I said, "Baby, what's wrong?" And she said, "I'm just so afraid." I go, "What are you afraid of?" Because she's an American citizen, right?
Yes.
I go, "What are you afraid of?" She said, "I'm so afraid I'm going to be detained by ICE and arrested and deported. And if that happens, are you going to help me?"
Oh my God.
And I said, "You're an American citizen and you're a citizen. Why do you talk like this?"
Exactly.
But her media source, and she explained to me who she was listening. I said, "You please listen to something beyond this Spanish language. Broaden your source of information because as an American citizen, you have nothing to worry about because you're a citizen. And by the way, if you do get arrested, call me. I'll make sure that everything comes out okay because you have friends here."
Yeah.
But she's a citizen and she's terrified.
I have the same experience even with my own kids. They are citizens. I am a citizen. I'm not afraid to ICE. If they detain me, they ask for my identification. I can prove I'm a citizen. And I have no issues with that. I think I'm more afraid actually the protesting because it gets so violent. If they hear that you probably are not against ICE, they will attack you. But my own children are being indoctrinated in that. They are afraid. My daughter even canceled her job last week because she was afraid, like maybe they will detain me. My daughter is half white, half Mexican. If you see her, she looks American. But she's afraid just because their friends tell, no, you are half a Mexican, they're going to take you. So it's really sad to see how much the media has been influencing our
The
community,
Spanish
the
language.
Spanish language. Yes.
So this goes, I would say, probably all the way from the international Spanish language media all the way down to the local.
More the local than anything, especially in Minnesota. We just don't have I mean, you know this better, like you are an independent media. The traditional media or the it's only left. You never hear right wing media in Minnesota.
Yeah, I've seen that
Yeah.
beyond the Hispanic community as well. I've seen it on the Asian communities. There's a lot of fear and it's a baseless fear. I have a feeling that's COVID happening again, where businesses
Exactly.
are shutting down. They go into our, the businesses and they arrest some people who overstay on their visa.
Yes.
But the people who have citizens here are fearful and not are not going to, like the New Year event that David was at. We have attendance that drop about 30%. Um,
Oh, you said your attendance was off by about 30% at
yes,
the event?
yes,
People were. I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, that two ICE
absolutely. Yes,
vehicles showed up and just parked up at the front
yes.
of the deal.
And yeah, well, I have no idea why they're doing that. There are people who come and see the ICE vehicle and turn around.
Yeah.
So there is a part that the fear, I'm not sure it is, could be inflicted. Part of this is why what I believe it is inflicted by the ICE as well as the legislator. Now, I
Exactly.
believe that. So I disagree with Erica's one point is that Fry and Waltz are not incompetent. I believe that it's a distraction that they're created so that they can, because we had CD3 has a poll at our event, and the number one by far issue, these are immigrant and fearful immigrant, and then their number one issue is still stop fraud. Imagine if the ICE is not there. What is the issue? They will lose election. So
Yes.
they will have this as a distraction strategies.
Well, I will say I'm agree with you, but can be both. Can be they are incompetent because it's been shown for the last. If you see the data, Minneapolis and Minnesota is. I mean, we have the precarious state documentary proving how bad Minnesota is getting, right, in education and GDP, in crime. So we can see the how Minnesota is declining, right, for the last 7-8 years. So I can say you are absolutely right. They can be very um, incompetent, but also they are using this as a distraction because now the develop of all this news about the fraud is getting high, and we know that's gonna cost their elections for them.
Yes. So it's just based on that poll. Number one is stop fraud. Number two is ICE. Number three is K-12 education. So it's like what you say,
Oh,
if you remove ICE, what's gonna happen, right? They are losing voters. So
yes.
Do you need tires? Go to tireget.com, TIREGET.com. The link is down in the description. I don't know about you, but I don't like waiting in a tire shop or talking to a salesman. TireGet makes it so easy I can order the tires right from my couch. Seriously, it's one website, a few clicks, and the tires are delivered right to your installer. You drop off your car and boom, your tires are on. Plus, you get to support Free People Radio. So not only do you get tires, but you also get to support your favorite show. We'll even throw in an extra little deal. Just enter promo code FPR in the checkout for an extra 3% off.
Okay, well, let me just add my Professor Penn spin on this thing.
Okay.
Because one of the things that I'm not interested in disagreeing with anybody because we all see things from our own perspective.
Yes.
One of the things that we tend to do in the Republican Party of Minnesota, which is a collaborator party, with collaborators that are really in on this grift. And I hope we get to the point where I can name some names because I named them last Thursday and I want to keep calling these people out. This concept of incompetence,
Hmm.
I have to get on the other side of the football for me on that one. And I'll tell you why.
Okay, I want to hear.
Within a global context, this managed decline, this is the managed decline of Minnesota. This has been going on in Minnesota since probably the 30s.
Mm.
So this state was at one time a solid Republican state. It was a very functional state.
Mhm.
It was a very racially homogeneous state until my mother participated in, because she was a head honcho in the Democrat Party, bringing in the Vietnamese and Hmong communities. I mean, my mother was super involved in that, so I had a bird's eye. We talked about that a little.
Yes,
I had a
it
bird's eye view of how that worked.
Okay.
The immigration was not by accident; it was systematically
Systemically.
planned. We have Lutheran social services, Catholic social services. There's a
Mhm.
Jewish group that does the same thing that
Yeah.
are funded by government. It's a business. It's a great thing to call them Lutherans and Catholics and Jews. It gives you get this image of some priest ladling soup into the bowl of a very hungry person.
Or just a youth group helping some tribe in like a very desolate area.
Yeah, BS. It's a business.
Yeah.
And it's a huge business, and it was done with a political intent, had no interest in the communities themselves.
Correct.
The reason that the Vietnamese community has done so well has got nothing to do with those people. It's got everything to do with the Vietnamese people.
Yes.
And if you think about the Vietnamese people, for example, these Vietnamese people, beat the French, the Americans, and the Chinese in a 30-year period of war. That's a tough group. You guys are the toughest sons of bitches on the planet.
we beat the Mongol when they're taking over Asia and Europe.
Yes.
See? Wow.
It's kind of like the Afghans. I mean, you guys can't be, this is a tough group of people, and they came to the country, they analyzed it. And I'm going to tell you, I was a young man when the Vietnamese community came here, and it was not easy when those two communities came. I lived in St. Paul, and I remember the gang violence that was, we're talking about the 70s now, early 80s. The integration of these communities into America was not easy. And there was a lot of violence and killing. And then it settled down and everybody went to college, and now everybody's a doctor, a lawyer, owns a business. Like you, businessman, part of the party, Republican Party, head honcho, working on the executive committee. Very impressive. But the immigration itself was a political act. And the decline of the state, I mean, Fry is a lawyer.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a very intelligent man, and he's a very intelligent politician. What's been going on is if you study the United Nations Agenda 2030, if you keep up with the World Economic Forum, if you keep up with what's going on a global basis, and you take a look at what's happening in Minnesota, it's right on target. These people are implementing a plan with great skill.
You're absolutely right.
And then if you take it a step farther, the fraud, which to me still needs to be proven. I mean, they stole $1 billion to $100 billion. Indict these people like Amy Bach was indicted, and she's incarcerated. Okay, let's get to the rest of them. And I'm going to tell you, the Treasury Department of the United States of America, Scott Bessent, is investigating. I mean, every agency of government is now investigating these people. So if nobody gets indicted, I guess everybody's in on it. But if people start to get indicted and these financial networks start to get broken up, we're going to see, and I call Trump the great unmasker.
Yes.
And I don't want to call these people incompetent, because Trump will say that this is an incompetent. They're not incompetent. They're hyper competent. If this allegation is correct that, let's say, $20 billion got pilfered out of a $68 trillion budget, that's good work. I mean, to steal that amount, it takes a lot of skill to steal that kind of money and to do it with that kind of intent and set up the systems to do it, because you have to set up systems to rob like that. So they're hyper competent. I mean, that's my opinion.
If you see it in that angle, you are absolutely right. But I think everybody knew about the fraud. Let me tell you, I think even me or public knew about this happening. So I have a friend who, do Botox and all of the, woman's skincare.
Botox.
Botox. And,
Okay.
And he told me, I have these ladies who drive in a Mercedes, come all full of gold, spend $10,000 in services. And I see them the next hour after I finish with them in Whole Foods with the full of cars paying with EBT. How that work? How that can make
EBT, for the people that don't know what this means,
is the food stamps.
The food stamp program, but they are all adorned in gold, and they're buying
driving a Mercedes Benz, and I have friends, and they actually have home healthcare services, they are providers, and they told me, yeah, we see all these cars and these buildings. So everybody knew, even in real estate and the education system, everybody and the public can see like this is not make sense. How these people who are in EBTU and welfare can have better houses, better lifestyle that most hardworking people in Minnesota.
Well,
So
and then this is we talked about this last Thursday.
yeah,
This is a massive fraud, and I get the focus on
systematic.
it. But the real issue is who set it up, how does it work?
Yes,
Uh, these people, in my opinion, are arch villains. It's systemic. It's a
it's
worldwide.
systemic,
It's a worldwide organized.
organized
I mean, this is how I
right.
look at it. So I'm not going to let anybody calling these people incompetent is underestimating
Yeah.
what we're dealing with. And the real and we talked about last Thursday. We have to focus on this, but what it's really a diversion from. I mean, you say it's a diversion from the fraud. It's a diversion from the billionaires that are behind the fraud. There is a network of financial interests that are aligned with siphoning off all the wealth from all the people. I mean, look at how the dollar has performed in the last month. It's falling like a rock.
Yeah.
Uh, look at the price of gold and silver.
Oh.
I mean, it's not like we're necessarily going to collapse, but there is pressure on our country and on our economy that people that are just going to work every day aren't paying attention to. And I think President Trump and his administration came into office. I know this is a fact. They came in with a game plan to do what?
Yeah.
To defeat a color revolution.
Yeah.
And that's what we're living in. And here in Minneapolis, it's the tip of the spear. And we're talking about immigrant communities going all the way back into the 70s.
Yep.
This is a long-term plan. See, this is another thing. Human beings, we have these. What's for lunch today, Tanner? That's what we're thinking about.
Yeah.
What am I doing tonight? But
Yeah.
actually, if someone is really wealthy, like a Rockefeller
Yeah.
or
Soros or
these kind of people, they can hire or they have the freedom to make a 500-year plan. I mean, I have a friend who is very wealthy. I'm not going to say his name. And his company has a 150-year strategic plan. Shit, I got a 30-day plan. I got my plan is I want to make money this month. I don't want to go bankrupt.
yeah.
So, what I'm advocating for as we go through the conversation and for the audience is I have 200, this is episode 276?
Yeah, 276.
There's 275 previous episodes trying to explain this plan.
Yeah.
Because it's a very well developed, well implemented, and people just go, well, it can't be. It just can't be. My answer to that is,
It's
and
happening.
I don't know if you do, but I'm just going to say, I believe in God.
Yeah.
So if you believe in God, we have this modern sensibility. Well, God's all love and it's all good. Well, what about evil? Yeah. Nah. Nobody wants to talk about that side of the equation. But actually, if you believe in God and you believe God has a plan, why wouldn't there be a counter plan, countermeasures? So to think that something could have developed over hundreds of years in a way we don't understand, I think that's rather naive. And now we see it playing out on the streets of Minneapolis. Why are there Asian people out protesting in the streets with the anti-ICE protesters?
Absolutely. In Vietnamese, I've seen sign
Really?
Vietnamese. They swing F ice in Vietnamese as well. So I've seen that, and I'm saying I just want to bring back the ICE issue. It is a huge distraction, and what ICE is doing physically, the ICE agents are doing in Minnesota. A lot of them are not the right things. I have the first-hand account. I have a very close friend of mine who served 2 tours in Afghan. And, he went to Target and they got stopped and searched by ICE agents. And he come out and they was asking him and he was saying, officer, I have my driver license in my right pocket. I also have a pistol in my car. I just want to let you know that. and I'm gonna reach to my right pocket and take out my driver license.
Right.
And by the time he reached to his pocket,
They
the
are.
driver and pull out his gun, say, "Hey, freeze! Get out of your car and everything." And next thing you know, he has his face slammed against the car.
Oh.
Um, and they handcuff him. He'd say, "Hey, I get my ID here. I don't have my passport, but I might work nearby. You can stop by and and ask them." And he got been told to shut up. And they searched everything. They eventually proved that he's here legally and everything, so they let him go. But that kind of treatment he does not deserve. There was no shirt worn. There's nothing. There was it's just and the guy is a MAGA guy. You know, he wear MAGA hat during the elections, right? So, and he went online, he went on Facebook, and he was just ranting on it, and he was, you losing voters that way.
Yes.
Um, yes, and I have a long story about this innocent religious refugees who got, her family got killed by the Vietnamese government, and she had to refuge over here, and and innocently, some reason at 11 o'clock at night, ICE was surrounding her house. The rest of she did not have green card yet. She's here since 2023, and there was 100 Hmong Vietnamese come here in 2023, and they have not. Some of them have green cards, some of them still have not. I'm not sure why the delay, but they arrest her. They took her away. In the morning, I got a phone call, and they say, do you know any immigration lawyer? And I start calling. Because she's living in St. Paul. So I called calling Betty McCollum. I got calling all the Democrats. Legislator that I know. I call Hmong legislator that I know. No help. No help at all.
Exactly.
Okay.
Why is that?
I don't know. They say, "Oh, I'll call you back," or I say, "Yeah, I'll look into it." Oh, they got their staff. I text them. Eventually, I got a friend, a mutual friend of ours, David, and she is able to get to Tom Emmer office. Now it's a Republican. The first Republican we reached out, he willing to help. He said, "Hey, his immigration office. Here's some document," and then we finally find a lady. Oh, because now she been transferred to El Paso, Texas, the next day because
Mhm.
St. Paul prison is not willing to work with ICE and accepting the
And
shelter
detain
for
it.
the lady. So now they have to ship her to Texas. So the immigration lawyer that Tom Emmer found for us no longer work because it's in Minnesota. Now you have to find somebody else in Texas. So
Yep.
we go down. Now the treatment of the lady wasn't real good either. She told us she has one slice of bread and one apple entire day for many, many weeks, right? We we have her ladies and we got all the paperwork. No, his interesting story is she was on the airplane. She was on the runway about to take off, and then they finally somehow prove her paperwork and pull her back. The only
They were going to deport her.
They was gonna deport her.
Wow.
Now, if she remember that she got here because her family got killed for being Christian. If they send her back, she most likely gonna get killed.
Gonna kill.
So when they got to the office, once again, I sent out a letter asking for, it's like, hey, this lady, here's for social security number, all this. I'm gonna release all the personal information, and I'm asking legislator in Minnesota for a support letter to her so that she can stand in court. That support letter. I got Senator Jim Abler, a Republican again, no Democrat. Jim Abler willing to write a letter, and the Council on Asian Pacific Minnesota wrote a letter to support her. She got released on bail, $3,500. Now, this lady, these people come here and get a job right away. She worked at minimum wage at the grocery store. She cannot find $3,500.
Right.
However, she managed to work that out. She got released 11 p.m. that night. Nobody called her family. She stand on the street in front of the prison for 3 hours before she can find somebody with a cell phone to call her husband to pick her up. I mean, yes, there is I would say, a distraction during the Democrat, and it's not helping. The Republicans are helping, but it's also the treatment of ICE
Yes.
against its immigrants are very, very wrong.
Well, the need for enhanced techniques and sensitivity on these issues
Yes.
is obvious. If this is the case, now I'm taking your word for this. We're friends. I know you're telling it a true story as you see it. I know that, and you're a Republican, and then you're on the CD3 Executive Committee. When you mentioned Jim Abler's name, you're not really winning a lot of friends in this audience, just to let you know. But the 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 need for refinement, for better tactics is obvious.
Yes.
It seems obvious.
Yes.
But I also want to say, in defense of law enforcement, what a terrible, awful job these people are doing. I mean, they're out in the cold. There are tens of thousands of people spitting on them, throwing things
Yes.
at them,
Absolutely.
really assaulting them. That's not protest, okay? That is actually street violence.
Yes.
They are threatened. They're being doxxed. They're afraid. I mean, there's some stone killers in there,
Yes.
but stone killers kill when they're afraid. I mean, it's scary to be 20 guys and there's 4,000 people surrounding you.
They being harassing them.
And I'm looking at this and I'm saying, wow. I mean, and so I don't want to minimize the story that you've told. And there needs to be, in my opinion, a better set of rules around these issues. But also, when you have, and I don't know the number, 25 million, 20 million, 8 million. I don't know how many people came across that border under the Biden administration. So now we're criticizing the hell out of this effort to clean up this huge mess. And I know why these people are here.
Mhm.
They're here. They're not here because anybody cares about these people in the Democrat Party, and that's who let them in.
Yeah.
I mean, there's video of Biden saying, "Surge the border." I mean, they wanted these people to come up here.
Yes.
We know why they came. That's because the United Nations response to COVID destroyed the economies of these Central and South American countries, and developing economies all over the world were destroyed by the COVID. Our economy took a huge hit. My company hasn't made a dime since COVID. I mean, really, we've never recovered here. So small businesses just trying to pop its head back up, in which we don't know if we're going to be able to do it.
Mhm.
I mean, it's really a struggle. So these people were driven to our border, and I'm going to go back to my mother and the bringing over. I mean, the Vietnamese needed the place to go because they had supported. We talked about this the last time you were on. Vietnam fell to the communists.
Yep.
I mean, we'd been there for years, and anybody that didn't get out stood a pretty good chance of getting killed.
Yeah.
So it was the right thing to do. I mean, I think,
Absolutely. I believe
and-
it is the cost, the way, the reason how we do it. It's completely. We believe it in 100%. Even
but
everybody.
why the
Yeah.
Vietnamese community was put in Minnesota. Let's just think about it. What's the average temperature in Saigon?
It's about 100.
Right. Is there do you have any snow in Vietnam? Does it ever snow there?
Way up in the mountain. Yes.
But I mean in Saigon.
No.
I mean in February, in the middle of winter, the temperature is about what, 90?
They got about 50 degree news. They can get from freeze and everybody.
Oh, everybody goes crazy if it's
Yeah.
50.
Yeah.
But mostly it's a jungle, right?
Absolutely.
And so we're going to take people that grew up in the hottest climate
I'm bringing them
and
the
we're going to
coldest place.
put them in a iceberg here in Minnesota. I mean, come on. So that's not very sensitive to the people that you're relocating. I mean, that's correct. And that was done for a political reason. And I'm going to go, we were talking about this before we came on. This use of immigration as a weapon has hundreds of years of history. Just because we don't understand it and we don't see it because we're in our limited frame of human experience. Israel, 1900, the Jewish population in Palestine, Palestina, was 5%. And then the Rothschilds, and it was the Rothschilds on record, spent in those times that money, the equivalent of $1 billion to resettle Eastern European Jews into Israel because the British Crown had a plan using religion. What their real plan was to secure the Suez Canal and the oil fields.
Yeah.
That was the plan.
Yeah.
And they relocated, and the Jews were, hey, we're in on it. Come on. Life's not good in Eastern Europe. We're going. And look, we're still having that fight today. So this immigration thing is very destabilizing. I don't know the number of people that came here, but they were brought here to use those people. They're being used.
100%.
Absolutely.
And so
Yeah.
the American citizens elected Trump
Mm-hmm.
to close the border and deport these people. And you know what? The mess is huge, huge.
Mm-hmm.
And to clean up a mess like this, it's not pretty.
It's not gonna be pretty.
And I understand where you're coming from. And I do agree with you that American citizens need to be respected. And it would be, but it's a color revolution. And if we don't think this through very carefully, and we talked about it last Thursday, the administration came into office knowing there was a revolution going on. And the revolutionaries don't care about the immigrants. Before they were using transgenderism as
Yes.
their tool.
Yes.
Oh, that didn't work. That didn't work. People, that's not going to work. Why? How's the transgenderism going down in the Vietnamese community?
Yeah, so even the Somalian, right? That doesn't work.
That
It doesn't work. So, they're using these people. That didn't work. Now they flipped over and they're using the immigrant community. But what really matters is the revolution.
Yes. Let me share with you something that I wish even my own community can listen this, because you're absolutely right. Immigration always been a tool to destabilize a country, right? We know the immigrant, and I want to reinforce the message that he just said. I have people calling me having similar experience from ICE, and I know how hurtful it is for our people who are citizen or legal, or even if they are not, probably they are not treated well. But also, I'm 100% agree. I see with my own eyes how ICE agents are being harassed. The protesters are so well organized.
They're not.
They are tracking.
So let's not call them protesters.
There's no even.
They are a insurgency.
Insurgency, exactly.
And they're organized like an
They
insurgency.
tracking them, they attacking them, they speed on them like it's.
Let me just tell
crazy.
you. Let me just share with you. When President Bush invaded Afghanistan and Iraq in the early 2000s, I lived out here in the western part of the Twin Cities. My mother and father lived in St. Paul.
Yeah.
And of course, I visit because traditional community you have in your community.
Yeah.
I taken care of my parents.
Sure.
So I drove frequently on 94, and I got off on Snelling and drove south on Snelling to get to my parents' house, and I had to drive by McAllister College.
Yeah.
And every Saturday and every Sunday, standing in the sidewalk with signs was Code Pink and 40 or 50 or 60 or 100 people protesting American imperialism. They weren't surging into the streets. They weren't stopping traffic. They weren't harassing anybody. They were standing in protest
Correct.
to an issue that they were passionate about, and that is their right as American citizens.
100%.
I don't think it's their. When you go into the streets, now I'm going to tell you something. So I've been beat up by the police before.
Oh,
Badly. 19 years old in St. Paul, because I fought the law and the law won. So, I'm thinking of your friend that was a veteran, served 2 tours in Afghanistan. The ICE looked at him and he said, "Sir, my driver's license in my pocket. I got a pistol in my car." Look at what these people are facing every day.
absolutely.
So I'm going to say them being hypersensitive about not getting shot is understandable to me.
Yeah.
Very understandable. But the unlawful, inappropriate detainment of citizens or the harassment of citizens, I don't know how they're going to recalibrate their tactics,
Yes.
but that has to be recalibrated.
So
And let me ask you a question just before we get off.
Yep.
Does the Vietnamese community want to see illegal, as Biden called them, newcomers that are now in the same areas as the Vietnamese and the Hmong community are living? Do they want to see the illegal people? Do they want them detained and deported in the community as a just give me your opinion on it.
absolutely not. And
They
the
don't
Vietnamese,
they
the
do-
people, the Vietnamese people who went through a process that here, like I said, my family waited 10 years on the paperwork so that we
Yes.
can sponsor our sister here. Same thing, Erika.
Wait, slow down, because I think people misunderstood your response.
Oh.
I asked you, do the people that came here legally and are citizens from the Vietnamese community, which is really getting fairly integrated
Yes.
and assimilated into American society, just like the Jewish community,
Mhm.
kind of, not really, because we talk about the Jews. Well, who are they really loyal to?
Mhm.
You know, Jewish people say, "Oh, we're loyal to America because it's good for Israel." I mean, this assimilative process takes a long time
Mhm.
because we have a country, we have a set of ideals, we have founding documents. I'm an American, period. But in your community, do the lawfully naturalized American citizens in your community, what do they think? Do they support the administration's effort to remove illegal people from their neighborhoods?
They are. They
They
are
do.
supporting yes, they do support the administration effort from removing those who are here illegally.
How about in your community?
Well, thank you. I'm, let me share something with you. Like most of the people in the Latino community, they are not gonna support it, or they are not supporting,
Because
and
going back to
because
this,
they go
the
back
propaganda that they're
the propaganda they have. But let me tell you, and this is what I want even the Republicans to understand this. We are neighbors. The difference between Ham and me is my community come from next door, right? Is we are neighbors with Mexico. So most people, the Latino America, they cross all over to the border in Mexico and cross. But before Biden, it's a big difference before Biden administration and after Biden. Because before people just cross probably illegally, try to find an opportunity to work. And the Latino community, like his community, the Vietnamese community, are very hard workers. Yeah, and they go and work like long hours. This is for a fact. You have a business in Mexico. You know how the people is. But when the Biden administration opened and purposed all these borders, we have 10, 15 million people coming, crossing the border, including drug cartels, sex trafficking, human trafficking, child trafficking. People don't like to talk about this. But the problem, the people who been here, like he said, when people cross the border and start working here and they try to apply for any immigration status, they have to wait 10, 15 years, even 20 years. They have to pay like $7,000 in a pardon, to ask in a pardon. And obviously, during all this time, they are not allowed to have any assistance from the federal government. So people are self-sufficient. They pay their own things, their own medical care, their own bills. They don't ask for any assistance.
they're
And
self-governing.
they are, yeah. And these families, they've been here for 20 years. They have children who now they are 18 and they join the military because they expedite the citizenship for them. And also they have hard workers, they are in college, they buy houses, they have bank accounts, and they contribute to the economy and the workforce of America. So when Biden opened the border, they brought these people who literally live on welfare, 100%.
That was the point of the whole deal.
That was
This
the
is
point.
the Cloward and Piven plan, which we've covered on the podcast extensively.
Exactly.
Two Columbia University professors who in the 60s said the way to bring about the revolution is break the system by overwhelming it. And, this
Exactly.
is the Obama plan,
Yes.
and Biden carried it out. Obama's from Columbia. I mean, I don't have any 8x10 glossies, but there were people in the protests here after that first woman was shot that came in from New York City,
Yes, from California.
and they were all associated with Columbia University, the ones that came in from New York.
Yes.
There's a real effort being made. And I got to say, there's a lot of Jewish people involved in this, which we covered last Thursday. And this stuff is complicated. And we were talking about Michelle Tafoya before we came on.
Mm-hmm.
When you get things that are this complicated and you use sound bites to wash over it, you're not going to solve the problem. You have to have when you talk about leadership, real leadership starts with a really careful research of the problem, how you got to where you are. If you don't know how you got here, you can't even begin to interpret where you're at.
Yeah.
And what we're talking about is how we got here. So when people paper over problems with sound bites, they're not contributing to understanding the problem. They're just supporting the status quo. And the status quo, really, that is going to attempt to emerge is This has got to de-escalate. We had Zach Duckworth say it, Julia Coleman say it, Abler has said it, Senator Cruz has said it, Senator Tillis has said it, Senator Lisa Murkowski has said it. This is the fracturing of the coalition
Yeah.
that's in it. There's an elite fracturing now around this issue. It's a dividing issue. Well, how did we get here? What you're saying is, if I understand, the group that came in previous to Biden
Yes.
worked.
Yes.
They might not have been
For the
here
most part. Yeah.
They might not have been here legally,
Correct.
but after Biden, this group was intentionally brought here to suck the public purse dry.
And not only that, we actually have real criminals brought here in purpose. So I actually have the opportunity to work with a woman who told me, I was in jail. I killed a man. And they told me, you're going to be let go.
This woman
as soon as.
This woman you're talking about. You're talking about somebody you met, right?
Yes.
And she told you she killed somebody.
She killed somebody. She was in jail, and they told her, you need to go. We're going to let you go, but you need to go to America. We have organized.
Can I ask what country was this from?
I think it was Nicaragua.
Okay.
And
so when Trump says they emptied the jails,
it's true.
You have a personal anecdote that says, at least in the case of this one woman, she was incarcerated.
Yes.
And they didn't want her there because they don't want to house her. We'll let you out. You have to go to America.
Correct. And yeah, so we have all these, excess migration, with totally put a lot of stress, as you know, in healthcare, education system, and social services, right? And now we have all this. Obviously, Trump went against, like, we have a lot of people. This mass migration causing so much crisis, and financially cost billions and billions of dollars in the American taxpayers. So it's why people, even the Hispanic community who was here before Biden, and the children of them, or the families of them, and believe it or not, these people own business. They own roofing companies. They own restaurants. They own, because even if they don't have an immigration status, they can have business with an IT number. So they pay taxes. They actually have employers. And all of them, the ones who can, vote for Donald Trump because they feel very betrayed. Biden just opened the border and give them TPS, giving Social Security to newcomers, right? Between them, a lot of criminals.
Here comes winter. In winter, good tires aren't a luxury. They're a necessity for safety. At TireGet.com, getting your winter tires is quick, easy, and priced right. With TireGet.com, you order online, install right by your house, and stay safe on the road this winter season. So there's a lot of Mexican and Central American citizens that are here. Mm-hmm. So like the Vietnamese and Hmong communities, the citizens object to people being brought in and given preferential treatment.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And I think that's very important that we understand and try to minister to these communities in a way that we reestablish community with them.
Yes, absolutely. I believe that, and I know this, the fact that I talked to as many people as I could about this issue is they believe that those here illegally need to go back to where they are, right?
Yeah.
On the other hand, they are scared. They are fearful of what the narrative from the left is telling us that, ICE here to get everybody, just like even if you are half white, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of these narratives are lies, and a lot of narratives are actually first-hand witness accounts. Because I remember this, ICE agents are human too, right? So yes, they, just like you said, David, they are working in a high stress environment. This is a war zone where they have to build, and people are, around them. I hate them, and they cannot, control these people, right? So the narrative we should tell people, and the truth is that the lack of cooperation, the lack of security that the police from the state is refuse to provide for them, the lack of prisons, that shelter for these people, for holding shell, that they have to bring these people out of the state the first day they arrest them. These are true. So why doesn't it happen at every state, right? So why is only happening in Minnesota?
Exactly.
It is the fraud. It is the fraud. It is people are trying that how so we need to navigate this state in a different way. And our narrative, we need to tell people that why it is happened only to Minnesota.
Let me just break back and say both of you had said something now that it's really interesting from your perspectives because
Mhm.
you talked about a half white. You talked about half white. Uh, you know, okay, audience. I know I've got a lot of people out here listening to me. I don't remember in the Constitution where it says the Creator granted unalienable rights to white people. I don't remember any place in there, although it does in the Constitution, there is problems relative to the slavery issue. But the critical line to me in the whole founding documents is the Creator granted unalienable rights,
Right.
and they're granted to everybody. So if we're going to get out of this thing, and I know I'm thinking of some of the people that ride my ass about this. America is not an ethnicity. It is really not a religion. That's how badass the founders were. They
Mhm.
didn't form a state religion,
Mhm.
although they were Christians, most of them, which
Yeah.
is downplayed in academia, and they were faithful, and they believed that a Christian moral virtue
Yes.
was fundamental to maintaining the republic. And as a matter of fact, I believe that.
Absolutely.
So, but they were so badass in founding this country that they said, hey, you want to believe in nothing? And we've got founding fathers that were atheists. We don't have to all believe the same thing because Republicans believe that the country is governed by those who show up. So we believe in participating in civic life. So here's caucus night. So people that have all these complaints about
Mhm.
everything, you have every reason to complain. You're in the party. Okay. You can complain. You earned a seat at the table by showing up to govern.
Mhm.
Okay. That's great. Now, if you just came in here and you just were my friend and you wanted to rant about this stuff, the first thing I'd say to you is, why don't you join the party? Make some change. And, people go, well, I don't want to be in the party. The parties suck. You're absolutely right.
Yes,
The parties totally suck.
it
And the
does.
reason why they suck is regular people, good everyday people from every community
Go.
do not participate in the dialogue. And the people that are in the parties, people that are mutual friends of ours, are fucking brain dead. And I can't help. You can't fix stupid.
Yeah.
That's something
Yep.
you can't fix that. But as more educated people come in, people that are really doing their homework and really are willing to do the work, we can fix these things. And I want to go back, and I'm not here to defend extrajudicial killings, which everybody is saying these people were murdered. Where's the investigation? I mean, that's wrong on both sides for the
Yeah.
administration to say, we know what happened, and for the other side to say, where's the investigate? I've looked at a lot of video.
Yeah.
I can't interpret it
Mhm.
because it depends on perspective.
Yes.
So I put up in one of my podcasts, it's a Rorschach test. You see what you want to see. But you go to a protest where people are really interfering with law enforcement, and you're actually interfering with law enforcement,
Yes.
and you're carrying a gun.
Yes.
Oh, you're going to get shot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, I don't know what all the legality is around that. And I hear one law enforcement person say this and another law enforcement person say that. But if you spend any time with police, which I've spent a lot of time with police
Right.
in previous part of my life, their lives are threatened. I trained, can you imagine? I had this friend of mine that worked at Minneapolis SWAT. I trained with them for 3 straight years. And all we did was, can he put cuffs on me? That's what we did.
Just for our friend from the left, suddenly now we suddenly have a good friend with a good guy with a gun, right?
Well, that's that. And then conversely, the right is pissed off he's carrying a gun. But you know what? If I'm going to a protest, I'm not going to. You mess with law enforcement and you're armed.
Yeah.
You can get. And I tell this people all the time. You want to die by cop? 10 minutes. Call 911. Go downstairs in the lobby, and charge a cop. He'll shoot you. And there is a certain amount of self-hatred and self-delusion to think you're going to go and interdict and interrupt law enforcement actions in the street and there's no problems. And I'm just going to say, as an American citizen, I think the argument is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think when Code Pink was standing in front of McAllister College with signs in silent protest, and I drove by every day, I got the message. I saw them protesting. It was cold, and they stood there, hundreds of them protesting. That's a protest.
Yes.
Now, I was also alive in the 1960s when we had the anti-war protests at the University of Minnesota, where tens of thousands of students were rioting, and the police beat the hell out of people.
Yeah.
And it was violent. In fact, my father, who was a leader of those protests, the FBI came in and tear gassed him in his office just to scare him because he was a leader of the protest. So if you're going to go out there and lead these protests, this is a insurgency. Actually, Donald Trump, they haven't brought out, half tracks with machine guns and mowed these people down. And I'll guarantee you, in a lot of countries, I think the death toll in Iran is like 5,900 protesters.
Oh, wow.
I mean, we don't know for sure, but
Right.
that's the number I'm seeing float around. I mean, there's a lot of restraint. And then, come on, people, you're out there protesting, you're out there, you're looking for trouble, you're going to find it.
100%.
But that is not the same thing as arresting American citizens. But again, your friend, I got a gun. Oh, I'm scared. I'm a cop. You're a badass cop. Served 2 tours in the Middle East. Great. You've killed people. Great. You're still paying it. Then you're paying double attention because you understand how quickly things can go south. So the fact that he got slammed onto a hood and got cuffed, it's really not a surprise. Was he released? Did somebody say, we're sorry? Thank you for your service. We're so sorry. We're just because see, he could have talked with them because he understands where they're coming from. What did they do when they recognized he was not a threat and was a citizen? How are we going to handle our community relations with fellow citizens? Can you beat a Roman citizen? I mean, can you beat an American citizen? Well, if they're being lawful, no. Otherwise, we're living in a police state. And I think what you're saying, and both of you are saying, there is an element of this. There is an element of terror being being used. And why is it happening in Minnesota? You're saying why? There's 2 sides to that equation. See, there's 2 sides. Why did Trump start? Why is this happening here? Because they've had ICE operations all over the country.
Yeah.
Why is such an effort being made in Minnesota? Because it's the center of leftism in the United States of America. We are the ideological center. I can't remember who I was talking to about this just recently. Who were we interviewing last? Oh, Mike.
Yeah.
It was Mike Lindell. We were talking about, I have become fairly knowledgeable about Minnesota election law and read a lot of the law. And it really looked like Kamala Harris was going to win the last election. If you think about it, there was a lot of momentum that way, right?
Yeah, of course.
And there was a bill to federalize elections. And that bill was sponsored by Amy Klobuchar. And she never sponsors anything controversial. Her bills are like beautifying the Lake Superior Lakeshore.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're getting her ready for big things. They don't like her to take a position. Well, she's taking a position now. She's running to clean up the mess, right? To manage this thing. But she sponsored this federal election bill. And I read it. And I got about 60 pages into it. It was about 800 pages. So they took and had this federal election bill. And I read it. And I was about 60 pages in, and the light bulb went off in my head. I've seen this before. This is Minnesota's election law.
There we go.
For example. And, just because we're finding out about billions of dollars getting disappeared doesn't mean the feds didn't know about it. There's a reason why they started here. There's a reason why they started with the universities. The first thing Trump did, and everybody freaked out when he came in, is he went after the elite universities, went after Columbia and Harvard. He went after these universities and forced them into decrees where he tried to get some purchase on their ideological indoctrination of young people.
Absolutely.
He came in, I believe, and I wish they'd say it. When I look at him, we talked about it last Thursday. They came in to thwart a color revolution. They knew it was going on. The immigration was part of it.
Mm-hmm.
The robbing was part of it. Because when you have a breakdown of civil society and fraud and corruption at this level, it undermines the institutions of the country. These are the things that cause or give fuel to the revolution.
Mm-hmm.
So what is Trump trying to do in his? And I don't think they're particularly articulate about it.
Yeah, no, I believe that I agree 100% of the why we do this, and and that the part that I've criticized two things. One is the how the mismanagement. Well, if I'm at my job and all days of the week I was doing just fine, and then suddenly now I drive a forklift over a bunch of pallet and they're all falling over. Well, that on YouTube forever, right? So it's just that one time that you make a mistake. Now remember, this officer on high pressure. We are sitting at home watching the video over and over again in slow mo. We tend to criticize people. These people are human and they are working on a high stress environment, so we have to understand these. However, is the pressure they created and as well as the response from the Republican Party of Minnesota is, not very well conducted.
What would you like the Republican Party of Minnesota? How would you like them to respond?
Like I said, is tell them the truth. Tell them that the our message is we cannot do it right. Why is it only happening in Minnesota? Why is it only happening in Minnesota? Because the government of Minnesota, the Democrat, is not cooperate. They go on and they tell the officer they cannot protect the ICE. They not cooperate with the ICE agents. Our prison does not provide shelter, temporary shelter for these people. Therefore, we couldn't mobilize attorney from within the state, and you know, and our ICE agent does not get protected. Now, different state. Imagine, say, for example, Florida. You have the police to actually go out and get the criminal on their criminal list, bring them back to prison. ICE agent just become an office person, sitting on the office, going down the list and say, this one can get deported, this one is not deporting. It's a lot of it much more organized because arresting people that has criminal, who would do it better, right? Within your state. Just imagine this gentleman where they say that, he was pulling out from his house wearing nothing but a short. You remember that
I
picture?
saw that.
Yes.
I saw those-
And then I was like,
and he was a citizen.
yes, yes. And then this actually because he was mistakenly identity because there's the guy that they are looking for.
Can I ask you a question? Just slow down. Slow your roll.
Sorry.
That was in St. Paul.
Yes,
Are there Vietnamese among police in St. Paul?
they are.
Okay. Are they being allowed to help federal agents or not? They are not being allowed.
They're not. They're not.
Okay, now let's think about this and let's go. Thank you for coming back. Let's just talk about this because this is something I've been tracking very closely, and you start connecting the dots. Just shortly after the Trump administration was sworn into office, they designated 20 Minnesota counties as sanctuary counties and threatened Minnesota with the withholding of federal funds to these counties.
Mhm.
And there was an argument. Some of these counties jumped up and said, we're not sanctuary counties. But the Trump administration never said that they were or weren't. Once they designated them as sanctuary counties, that's who they were. And there was Republicans in the legislature saying, well, we're not. No, you were designated as a sanctuary county. And 20% of these
Really?
20 counties,
Really?
20% of these counties' budgets are devoted to the care, the education, health care, and social services for what Biden called newcomers, which I would call illegals. Okay?
Yep.
We're talking about billions of dollars. Big business. Because what does government do? It takes money from one group of people and gives it to another. And what they do, all the people that work for government, they're like commissioned salespeople. They're all on the payroll,
Yeah.
moving money around.
Yeah.
So they designated these counties, 20 counties, sanctuary counties. Not very long thereafter, Hennepin County Sheriff Katarina Witt came out and said, we're not going to help ICE. That's not our
Exactly.
job.
That's the problem.
Okay, that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
Now, wait, I'm not done.
Mhm.
Andrew Myers from right here in 45.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Myers, you're on the CD3 Executive Committee, came out the day Katrina Witt said we're not helping ICE, and I've got this, I got the receipts, has a picture posted up on his social media of him and Katrina Witt and says, so happy to be with Hennepin County Sheriff Katrina Witt. I support her in everything she does. I'm paraphrasing. And I thought, wow, Andrew, that's a little strange timing. She comes out and says, we're not helping ICE, and you're standing with her. So I went to one of his coffee meetings at a Caribou down in his district, and I asked him about it. Oh, he was pissed. He was so mad at me. And he said, did you put this on your podcast? I said, of course I did. That's why I'm here. I'm asking you, what did you mean? And he started screaming at me. And I'm going to tell you right now, the problem is not a Democrat Party problem. It's a political class problem.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Myers is more catering to the leftists in 45A. He doesn't give a shit about the Republicans in his district because he feels to stay elected because it's his job. He has to, and you know what? I told this to Stan. Stan got mad at me, started swearing at me. You know what? We're not going to tolerate that anymore because we're in a color revolution. And I actually had a meeting with Andrew one time. And he looked at me and said, well, that's all. I don't understand any of that. I said, you're a lawyer. You're educated. I knew he was lying to me because of the things I was talking to him about, he knew or he should have known because he's a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
So he's hiding from me. He's hiding who he is. And we're going to say, well, he's better than a leftist. Well, okay. Yeah, okay. And I'm going to tell you, Andrew, I don't vote for you because I'm in B and you're in A. But I'm going to tell you right now, yes, I agree. After the primaries, after the conventions, all Republicans need to unify around the aligned interest of defeating the communists. But until we get to that date, I'm calling your ass out because you're saying the problem is that the local law enforcement is not working with the federal government.
Yes.
And if we had the Hmong and Vietnamese law enforcement, community people working with law, this guy's a citizen. I know him. He's my cousin.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been dragged out of his house in his underwear.
Well, yes. So I'm saying, what I'm saying is the guy who they actually intend to arrest was already in prison. Remember that? So what if they are cooperated? They wouldn't know. They wouldn't get an innocent person.
That's
out of
right.
that.
So what you're saying is it's the lack of local cooperation,
Correct.
which
Yes.
exacerbates this problem.
Yes.
And that
And
is
the
not
Democrats wanted it.
incompetence. That is policy.
Correct.
Okay. It's creating
You
a
convinced-
mess. And, I'm just saying, because you're a head honcho in the party, when our elected officials that we are supposed to go out and door knock for and give money to line up on the other side of the football, they don't give a damn about the party. And that's really a problem. We have
Yeah.
a party platform. We believe in law enforcement. And when law enforcement says we don't believe in law enforcement, then we got a big problem, don't we?
Yep.
So what we're doing is, how did we get here? What we're talking about is how we get here. And what I'm trying to drive this to is what made it worse. Not that it wouldn't have happened anyhow, to some degree, but what has made it way worse, why your community member ended up in El Paso, is the St. Paul lockup wouldn't take her because it was an
Yes.
ICE detainer.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, so she
Yep.
ended up in another state. Everything's worse because our local mechanism. So then let me ask you, why aren't our local elected officials working with the feds? Why?
Well, I actually wanna tell you, like, it's the same thing for the Latino community. When I actually interview Jacob Frey, I say, you damage more.
You got him for an interview?
Yes.
Is he ever going to come back on your show?
I don't think he will, probably. No, he actually was very cordial and, he's actually very reachable person and nice. But, when I talk to him, I say, you actually will hurt more the Latino community by not participating with ICE. And let me elaborate about that. Because,
So you actually explained this to him.
yes, I told him, like, when the local police have a record of people who have crimes, right? Criminal backgrounds. They can collaborate with ICE to go get the people who have crimes, give it to ICE, and then take them from there. Who we are protected? The ICE need to come to our communities, to our neighborhoods, because local police are not helping. If local police will help and just bring the criminals to them, we really just gonna remove the criminals and people that even they are undocumented, they are good people and they've been here for a long time, being an asset for America, they can stay. But the fact that they use this like, oh, we wanna protect our neighbors, so we gonna protect our immigrant community, and they refuse to work with ICE, they actually harm more the people.
Well, let's take it one step further, and then I want to break back to Pam Bondi. Globalism, which is what this is all about, borderless society, the breakdown of sovereignty. This is what the left is seeking. So when you say, I want to protect my neighbors that aren't here
Legally.
as sovereign citizens of the U.S.,
Yeah,
what you're saying is borders don't matter.
exactly.
And when borders don't matter,
Hola don't matter.
we don't have a country.
Yep.
When borders don't matter, we have poverty. There's three aspects to borders, actually. Number one, it's a spiritual thing. A border, like if we're friends and I violate a border, you're going to say, stop. If
Yeah,
I don't stop, I'm bad. I mean, your borders are yours. I need to honor your border. I mean, that's how human beings
yeah,
mediate their interactions
yeah.
between
Mexico
men
have
and
borders.
women, between men and men. Borders. We have physical and we have spiritual borders. When a country has a border, it has a limit to the ambitions of what it intends. No, we don't have any limits in the United States of America. We've been the hegemon running the whole world since 1945. So we've lost the concept of a border because the whole world is our plaything. And that's a problem. But the second part of borders is the concept of citizenship. If you have in your community a big population of folks that are here illegally and they're taking services, whether they're paying taxes or not, it diminishes my lawful citizenship, the value of my citizenship.
Exactly.
The third thing, products. You're in business. When we're importing, I import tires for TireGet.com,
Target.com.
where you can buy tires to fund this. This is a great conversation. I
Yeah.
want to thank you both for coming in. How do we fund it? We sell tires here at TireGet.com. It's everything you need in tires. The price is right. And we are funding the ongoing operations to have these kind of conversations, which I think are critical. Oh, Tanner's got a present for me. And you can go to Free People Radio /store, because we're not talking about being far right. We're not racist, misogynist, anti-Semites. We're not far right. We're just right. We're seeking a Republican.
That's so cool.
That's right. Buy a T-shirt.
Yep.
Go buy
Yep.
20 T-shirts. Give them out. I mean, it's a uniform. I mean, I think I'm
Yeah.
going to start wearing them all the time. But my point is, the borders are so important. So anytime we lose, if there's a breakdown, and I'm going to tell you, in China, there's no illegal immigrants in China. If they are, they're in big trouble. You
Yep.
can't even go from one city to another without a pass there. It's called
Even
a
in
hoku.
Mexico is the same.
Right. And that's part of the United Nations plan.
Yeah.
Wait,
to put
Mexico's
everybody.
the same?
Go ahead, explain it.
Yeah, can you explain that to me? Because I actually did. That is complete news to me, and for some reason, just shocks me.
Yeah, no, Mexico have a law. You stay there illegally, they take you to jail. So it's not. People think even if you see the news right now, Mexico was invaded because after they closed the border of United States, a lot of people, immigrants, stay in Mexico, and the same start taking benefit. Mexico don't have a lot of benefits, as you know, for the public, but wherever it is, they take a lot of the stuff there, and the own citizen of Mexico start complaining. And, Mexico don't take anything by, they are not they are very aggressive. So they actually physically remove the people. Many people ended in jail. They complain with the president and the president kick them out. And their policies are actually worse than the immigration in America. Because if you think ICE is danger, it's Disney World in compared to Mexico. They
That is
kick the
terrifying.
ass of everybody.
Oh, it's absolutely true too. It's happened in Vietnam. It's happened in Thailand.
Yeah.
It's multiple country. During the Pol Pot massacre, people in Cambodia, people are the refugees in Cambodia try to migrate to Vietnam, and the Vietnamese governments are putting tanks at the borders,
Yeah.
and they just bomb everybody that's coming in. You know, you have a big group, you're
Wow.
just gonna bomb them.
Yep.
Yeah, you
So
see, because the United States is the hegemon and is running a worldwide empire, a dollar empire,
Yep.
we haven't had borders here since 45.
It's crazy.
So, we've lost the concept of sovereignty because the whole program is ours. But I want to just say before you just hold
Yeah.
the thought, TireGet.com, where convenience meets the road. Why make buying tires complicated? With TireGet.com, it's simple. TireGet.com, one site, a few clicks, and the tires of your choice are shipped to an installer right by your house. Pam Bondi. And this got a lot of coverage, but I don't know if everybody's
Paying
heard about
attention?
it. Pam Bondi sent a letter to Walz, and she said, we'll withdraw ICE from your state in exchange for three.
The elections, right?
Well, there was number one, they want the local law enforcement to cooperate. They want to have the lists of all the people that are not citizens that are taking federal benefits,
Yeah.
which is a big deal in this state, which you were just talking about.
Yeah.
And they want the voter rolls. And, they rejected that. And you're thinking to
Yeah.
myself, man, are we a state in the United States? I mean, our government here in Minnesota is in insurrection against the federal government. Let's
Yes.
just call it like it is.
It is. It is.
Because I think that's pretty reasonable. You want ICE out? Hey, we want them out too. Could you please join the country? 23 states have given the voter rolls to the federal government to review the voter rolls.
Yes.
27 states have sued to prevent the fact. Okay, great. And what's their excuse? Oh, it's breaching private information. And come on.
Yeah. Give me a break.
It's just a scam. So we got to start calling things out like it is.
Yes.
And why is it really that much to ask for local law enforcement to work with? But no, that's why they're here, because they
Yes.
have to break this government, and they're out, and it's not pretty. And we have an insurrectionist state government that has robbed the people of this state. See, these two things go together. It's an insurrectionist government elected by the people. Maybe, if you talk to Mike Lindell, he's not going to agree with that. Elected, maybe. Let's prove it. And $20 billion or $30 billion disappeared? Maybe. Let's prove it. But what you see is the outlines of what could be a criminal racketeering enterprise.
Yeah.
And Trump is here to defeat this insurrection because it's a global insurrection. It's a globalize the intifada. It's a global effort to break the United States of America.
Yes.
So let me just say to you as a friend and to all the people in your community who are citizens, I'm very sorry this is happening. I'll be more sorry when they pull me out of this studio and shoot me out in front of the building if they get control of this government. We're fighting people that will take you, Martino, as a Republican Party officer on the CD3 Executive Committee and come to your house and not detain you. They'll just shoot you in the front yard. And why do I know that? Because every time communists get control, historically, and they always say it's going to be different here, like it was in Cambodia, like it was in Vietnam, like it was in Russia, like it was in China, like it was in all these countries that were conquered by the communists in exactly this fashion, a color revolution, funded by international capital, which does not care if countries are capitalist or communist. That's got nothing to do with it. They just want monetizable sheep that they can make money off from birth to death. And they don't care what we believe, who we are. None of that matters. Just go over to Target and buy your shit. And of course, Target came out and said, oh, please stop, please stop. And they acted all, well, we need the DS. No, they just want the money. Please come shop at Target. We don't have time for this. Our cash flow is affected. But let's act like we care. And 60 Minnesota companies jumped up like that. They don't care about the people. They're the billionaires that are funding the deal. The funding for this
Yeah, they are.
is, I don't know which billionaire. I don't, but they're going to figure it out. Besson, I played it last Thursday, a clip. They are using every mechanism of the federal government to investigate where the money is coming to pay for these whistles. For example, somebody paid for them. Somebody's paying for the comms. Somebody organized the signal channel. So as much as I am empathetic, I don't have toxic empathy. Toxic empathy is when you care about so much everything breaks
Oh, yeah.
down.
Yeah.
No, it's wrong.
Mhm.
But who are the criminals here? Not ICE.
No.
It's the Biden administration that allowed this.
Yes.
And Trump is trying. And who's talking about that every time? ICE, ICE, ICE. No, Biden, Biden, Biden. And
Yeah.
all the people that were with him. They opened that border. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, really, if you look back now and you see what we're seeing in the streets here, do you remember the scenes of all those people coming across that border?
Yep.
And did not
You-
Trump get elected to close that border and get these people out of the country?
Absolutely. I believe that the toxic is not ICE. Is the toxic is that ideology that they
Yes.
implant in your mind.
Yes.
We need to get that out. Like, yeah. So
Awake
I don't know
people.
that we're going to be able to debunk these or
I-
reframe these people. Go ahead.
No,
I told you the whole thought. Go ahead. please.
I just want to ask you if you are aware of the Dignity Act.
Yes, Salazar.
Salazar.
Yeah, I played it on the podcast 2 weeks ago.
And I wonder, because, now we see Amy Klobuchar, Angie Craig, Tina Smith, all like crazy about ICE. And, where are they? They've been in Congress for a long time. Why they haven't do anything? Because the only way you can change something or improve something is through law. So we have Maria Elvira Salazar writing this bill act. I don't know why nobody's talking about it.
I talked about it.
I'm so glad you did. So what is your take on that?
I look at these politicians, these centrist. She's kind of like Michelle Tafoya.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 90% of the time, she votes with the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to take a vote every time with the other side. You just have to show up at the right moment
Mm-hmm.
when the chips are up on the line, when the chips are on the bar, and you side with. She voted to push Marjorie Taylor Greene off of her committee assignments. She voted to fund the subsidies for the Obamacare, which was a Democrat thing. She voted. She has a lot of votes that she's taken, critical votes. I'm trying to remember them all now. She voted to form the January 6th committee with 35 Republican congresspeople. That's all. I mean, everybody else in the caucus said, no, we're not going to do this. She voted with the Democrats. So every once in a while, not all the time, and she's a beautiful woman, beautiful, super well-spoken,
Mm-hmm.
very powerful, almost a husky voice, almost kind of masculine.
Right.
I mean, like she's a leader,
Yeah.
like you say, leadership.
Yes.
But when it comes down to it in the clinch, if I was in the alley with her, I wouldn't trust her because she takes votes that undermine the maintenance of, let's just talk about Obamacare just for a second. Okay, great.
Yeah.
I can talk for the next, we can have a 4-hour podcast
Mm-hmm.
of everything that I think's wrong with that. But the main
Right.
thing that's wrong with it is we spend more on healthcare than anybody else in the world
They will.
per capita, and we have the 35th percentile. We are the 35th country for longevity, but we spend more money than anybody on healthcare.
Yeah.
And we have a radically unhealthy population. That's Obamacare. And you can see it because both communities, you have people that are on
Mhm.
Medicaid. And it's the most unhealthy population in the state, the Medicaid population. And if the government loved us so much
Mhm.
and they were so good, why are the people dependent on government the most unhealthy cohort in the society? And she's voting for that. And
Yeah.
that's not her loving her people. So whether you like her or not, and it's okay if you do, we're not going to fight about it.
No, but
I look at her and I say, she is a unreliable. She will come out against Trump because the knives are going to come out on Trump very shortly. They're already coming out. Cruz came out. Tillis came out. Murkowski came out. Trump is going to be a lame duck soon. And when the Republicans lose in the midterms and they lose in the next presidential election, it'll be Republicans that lead the charge to get us back to globalism. And, in a fight like this, I don't have a lot of patience with this.
Yeah, but the bill, the dignity bill itself, if you have read it's actually a bipartisan bill. I think will be at least give a little bit of partial solution for the immigration problem we have in America.
You know what the people in this audience are going to say?
What?
These people that are here illegally need to go. Now,
Yeah.
the question is, what do you put around boundaries for that?
Yeah.
Is it just the people that came in the Biden administration? I'm going to add something to it.
Okay. Tell me.
There are people who are American citizens that lied to get here, to get their citizenship.
Yeah.
If you lie to become a citizen, let's say you're Chinese and you came in the country and you lied on your immigration application, I don't care if you're a citizen, you need to be denaturalized, imprisoned, and then deported. If we don't have law, we don't have anything. And the fundamental thing that is underlying the chaos in our society is a breakdown of our civil institutions. That's the fundamental thing. And there's empathy. Oh, these people have been here a long time. Now, I'm not a legislator, and I do have empathy if people have been here for 20 years, 30 years.
Yeah.
I get that this is a problem that has to be adjudicated.
Yeah.
But she jumped up right in the middle of this with this thing.
Yeah.
And see, timing is important. The timing. I'm
Yes.
not saying that her idea is necessarily right or wrong, because we're not going to be able to deport everybody.
Everybody.
It's
Yeah.
just impossible. But there's these waves of amnesty. Reagan had one. I was alive. And Bush tried to have one. We get these waves of amnesty. And, at a certain point, we kind of lose the meaning of having a border. But I do agree, and I will say, there are people that have been here for a long time that have children that were born here.
Yes.
And that's why we have to have very careful and informed conversations. But what I didn't like about Salazar is the timing of
Yes.
what she's done. Because although her ideas might be good, it sounds like a repudiation of the administration's policy. That it's the optics of it. And I don't think that's an accident, because when I saw her introduce this, I went back and looked at every vote she'd ever taken. And she did vote to strip Marjorie Taylor Greene of her committee assignments with just a handful of Republicans. And Marjorie Taylor Greene was stripped of her assignments, and she's leaving Congress. And she was quite a firebrand.
Yeah, she was.
Then we got this thing where she voted for the January 6th investigation. She voted with Liz Cheney.
Oh.
And that's what she did. It's on the record. You can go check it for yourself.
Right.
So she's taken votes that, and, you can say it's principled.
Right.
And I'm going to just say, yeah, you can have a principle. How about the aligned interest of beating the communists? Why are you throwing in? See, you're smiling.
Yeah.
See, in normal times, like I've been around a long time. I mean, I'm the oldest person in the room. There's been times when we argued about should the tax rate be 24% or 26%. Everybody was kind of down with getting along. But when we have an armed insurrection in the streets, and it is armed and
Yeah.
organized,
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, what are our aligned interests? Why would you? And they go, okay, this is the Julia Coleman thing. Bipartisanship. Got to work together. Work together? These people are avowed socialists.
Yeah.
What happened in Vietnam? Wasn't there a period of time when the government tried to work with Ho Chi Minh? Wasn't there a period of time when there was a political process that culminated in what? You live in Minnesota. Probably not the first choice of your family. You probably would have liked to stay living in Vietnam.
Yep.
The reason you're here is if you'd stayed, you probably would have been killed. But there was a political process. There was an attempt to work with these people. Didn't work, did it?
No, not.
Didn't
Not
work
at
in
all.
Cambodia, did it?
Mm-mm.
Didn't work in Russia, did it?
Yeah.
So now we got these people like a Salazar, like a Coleman, like a Duckworth, that are trying to work with people, they're just lying about what their goals are. If your goal is to have a country, work with ICE. Tell local law enforcement we're a country. Work with ICE. Turn over to the government where the federal purse is going to take care of people that aren't here legally, and give the government the voter records, because we're going to prove that there's no fraud, right? I mean, if there's no fraud, why wouldn't you turn it over? Because then all the crazies that believe that the voting is fraudulent, if they reviewed the voting records and there was no fraud, that would kind of end that argument. We could restore community,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not what they want.
Exactly. So we need to work with ICE. And that's what I'm saying is my whole point is the Republican Party of Minnesota need to have that message. We need to work with ICE. And
Could you please start with Andrew Myers? Why don't you give him a call? Why don't you start with Andrew? Andrew, why don't you go on the record? Because he
Well,
was
it's
certainly
number.
he certainly went on the record with de-escalating, if you noticed.
Yes. No, I'm saying we need to work with ICE. We need to work with federal government. We are one union with the country. We need to work in synchronization. Yeah, we have a right to criticize anything that we disagree with. But at the end of the day, if you have your best people interest in your in mind, and the best way is to work, cooperate each other, so that it happened in every single state, and but just not happen in Minnesota. There is and if 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 nothing wrong with your voter roll, turn on your voter roll, right?
Right now,
If
well,
it's not,
if you really wanted to if you really wanted to de-escalate, if that was
yes,
really
Yeah.
your goal,
That was really your goal.
color revolutions generally start by the undermining of free and fair elections. That's generally
Yes.
the cornerstone of a
Mhm.
color revolution. If you wanted to de-escalate, why don't you go right for the main problem? Let's fix the elections. Oh, there's nothing wrong with the elections. I just heard Tim Walz say just recently, we have the highest voter participation rate in the country, and we got a great
yes. You have
Yeah.
people voting twice. That's why you
Yeah.
have high voter participation. There's another gentleman, Democrat, gonna tell me like, yeah, I'm witness Democrat showing up primary against Democrat
Yeah.
twice.
Yep.
Right, so they have bus people around. It's unverified, so I can't guarantee that. But we have a irregular in election, and we need to look at that. We never had that exact conversation within our state with our auditor, doing.
if
Yeah.
there's a leftist that have hung in here and they're listening, I'm just going to say to you, I want evidence. I want this stuff to be aired out.
100%.
And if you really want to have a country, then let's just fix it. Okay, it's not a big deal. Fix it. But voter ID, these people, come on. They don't want, and I'm very suspicious of the voter ID thing because we're getting
Yeah.
into the digital ID. But I mean, if you wanted to fix this, if you really wanted to fix the country and have a community where we're all Americans, we're not asking for a lot. You just told me your community, the citizens, want the non-citizens out. You told me your community kind of resents these newcomers that are coming and taking everything for free.
Yeah.
Okay, we can fix this.
Mhm.
I want to fix it. That's why you're here. That's why you're here. That's why Mohammed's been here. But you got to have a partner. In a marriage, when the marriage breaks down, they say it takes two to break a marriage. No, that's not true. That's a scam. One person can break
Can
a
break
marriage.
a marriage, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that's your right. It's your right to be borderless. It's your right to believe in globalism. It's your right to believe in worldwide communism. And this is what I want to say as we end the podcast. It's tyrannical because they have tyranny in their heart. You can't clean up. You can't fight these people by communicating with them and being in community with them. You can't fight people whose only reason for cooperating with you is to further their revolutionary aims. And when you say there's Democrats, you're sure. The whole socialist enterprise is to isolate those people and get rid of them. So we got a mega movement in the Republican Party,
Yeah.
and we're closing in on all of these rhinos. We're closing in on them. They got a socialist movement over in the Democrat Party, and they're closing in on the centrist liberals.
Mm-hmm.
What is the unifying factor between the far left and the far right, if they are far. I'm just talking about MAGA and the socialists. We completely agree on the diagnosis of the problem. The system is completely corrupt and anti-human. We just don't agree on the solutions.
I believe that there is some wrong the system. There is issue within the system, and that's
Yeah.
why you show up in caucus. That's why you are voting and rebuild this. You don't demolish the entire system and say, hey, America system is bad, we scrap it out. Right, we need that's why we need to involve in politics as not is evil. Politics is not evil, especially American politics. We are the most charitable country. That's why immigrants come here. We love this
Mhm.
country.
Yeah.
So please, for me and for my community and for her communities, we need to get involved. If you and to help rebuild this country from everything from education, the voting system, the immigrations, so that we can try from now on. And if those are here and overstay your visa, you love this country and you're here for work and you have deported by ICE,
Yeah.
I think you can just should reapply, right? You should come back in legally and not illegally.
You said that you said the punchline. The people that are on the Republican side view the institutions as decayed and want to rebuild them.
Yeah.
The people on the left want to destroy them.
Mhm.
And that is really, and if you're on the left and you want to destroy it, okay, we're going to fight you. I mean, now the fight's on. I mean, this is why Trump is such an interesting person. He's the great unmasker. He unmasked the Chinese, for
Yeah.
example. He's unmasked, and now he's unmasking this revolution, which is going on. And where does it come from? Oh, let me tell you where it comes from. It comes from our universities.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
here we are.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
100%.
that's the center of it. Where is our Republican legislators here stepping on the University of Minnesota? Oh no,
No, no.
we're all Gopher fans. We love the university. My kid graduated from the university. Your kid graduated from the university, a communist.
Yep.
That's what happened.
Indoctrination.
So,
100%.
and when Trump went after the universities, everybody freaked out. Oh, it's a tyranny. Oh, no. We got to take this argument. We got to speak it out the way it is. Yeah, I had a university professor said that I was a fascist. You are a fascist. You are a fascist on the grift at the university, making a couple $100,000 a year, plus everything you can steal in your research program,
Mhm.
turning my children
Yeah.
into mindless drones. You need to lose your job. Oh, I'm tenured. Yeah, we need to change that. People don't want to hear that. If we're going to change this, it's going to change in the schools. Remember we had Pam Altendorf on, and as soon as I criticized the teacher union, she freaked out? Yeah. No, don't. Our teachers, or our doctors. I mean, we have these groups. You can't criticize them. Oh, kind of like the Jews.
I mean, we need
can't
to be
criticize
honest.
them.
Yeah.
There's Rush Limbaugh say this. This is intellectual dishonest, right? You can agree with a party. You can agree with the platform and criticize the issue that within their party, within their state, within that person.
Yeah.
Right? I love my kids, right? But then I say, hey man, you eat too much. You watch too much screen time. There is, if you want that party or that person to be better.
You got to get involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, you've done it. You've got a Hispanic Alliance. Is that what it
Yeah.
was called, right?
Well,
Association.
yeah.
What's it called again?
Hispanic Assembly.
Is the Hispanic Assembly recognized by the Republican Party of Minnesota as an
Yes.
affiliated organization?
Yes,
It is.
it is.
Have you ever heard of this organization? Have you ever heard of it?
Well,
You're-
yes, because I'm a friend.
Well, we
No,
are friends.
But why is this organization not promoted in the party like
They should. I'm telling you, the messaging of the Republican Party of Minnesota is bad. It's really,
Yes.
really, really bad.
who's responsible for that?
Today is what, February 3rd. How many of you show up at the poll? Why a Democrat are packing, caucus places while you're not?
Who is responsible for party messaging?
I have no idea.
You're in the party. You're pretty senior in the party.
Well,
I-
let me tell you, with all these ICE issues that we have, I was called by Fox Noticias, which is the Spanish Fox, right, to kind of comment on what is happening. No one. I reach out to the GOP and I say, hey, I can come. It's very different when you make a statement, but me as an immigrant make a statement, right? It's a different because I'm part of the community, right? Um, I call to the GOP, I call to several other places to say, can I come to your space and give a statement for what is happening, defending ICE and the position of the conservatives? Nobody called me. The GOP in Minnesota is very divided itself, have a lot of conflict inside. And, I'm very new in this. I'm not a politician. My son was assaulted after the George Floyd. Um, the people who assaulted them, almost literally, they have to do 3 surgeries in his face to reconstruct his face, just to have an idea how bad
That's
he
bad.
was. The people who assaulted them were Black people. So I have friends in the police and the Minneapolis police, and I told them, there is a lot of videos about this and security, but they told me, we cannot do anything because they are Black. And after the George Floyd, you remember, every person went to do whatever they want to, wasn't consequences, right? So it's how I start getting more involved. Like, this is not right. What is happening right here in Minnesota is not right. So now I try to help people to awake and to educate and to inform, like, okay, don't let, the media manipulate you. Be a thinker for your own. Make a research. And then you make your decision what party you want to support. But yeah, my experience is I don't have the support from the GOP. I obviously don't have the support of the Democrat Party because they probably hate me because I'm very well spoken about what the wrong things they are doing to this country and to the immigrants um, and to the system altogether. So I don't know. It's very hard to be in a position like Martino and I, we are immigrants. We know what is happening, but we don't have really the support to somebody come and help us, right? To reach out more people to come and participate with us.
Well, this is something I think Walter Hudson's been on the forefront of this about the emergency constituencies, which has been interrupted by this. I mean, this thing, we've talked about it. It's been a great conversation. I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to say in conclusion, Erika, you talked about the fight in the party. It's in both parties.
Yeah.
Let the Democrats eat each other. We on the Republican side, we still talk to each other. Kind of. We're still civil. Kind of.
Yes, of course.
After we get done with the political wrangling with the convention, we just need to align interests and vote
Yes.
against the Democrat. I mean,
Yeah.
this whole thing, we're going to squelch this fight or we can't win. This is bullshit. The real fact is we're Republicans. We think for ourselves.
Yes.
And all we have to do is fight it out, and it's a numbers game. But it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. If you get your way or not, you have to unify with aligned interests.
Yes.
So all these Republicans, they don't like me. Like, come on, bring them on here. If they really don't want to like me, I'm going to embarrass them publicly.
They like you.
Yeah, some of them don't like me. Some of them are smart. Most of them are stupid. And, being stupid at this time in American history doesn't work.
Yeah.
We have serious problems. We have to solve them. We have to solve them intellectually. This issue of ICE tactic is a serious and very complex issue that has to be talked through by people that have way more insight into it than I do. And I want to thank you for recognizing that these ICE agents are under tremendous stress.
Yeah.
And that affects how they
Yeah.
act. They're not Superman. So on that note, I want to thank everybody.
Thank
I want to thank you for coming in, Martino. Erika, thank you. You're both welcome back. I think it was a great conversation.
It was awesome.
I got a feeling Mr. Tanner's going to get lots of shorts out of this one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tanner. Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks, David.
Thank
Thanks,
you
Tanner.
so much.
Thanks, Erika.
Thank you, Martino.
Have a good night, everybody.